Welcome to this channel, which is solely dedicated to the hidden mysteries of the kingdom of God. My name is America, and I shall be sending you through this discourse to unveiling the hidden mysteries of God's kingdom. By the strength and direction from God, I have been able to write this book entitled Reading the Mind of the Holy One of Israel. Reading the Mind of the Holy One of Israel. This book comes with 35 massive chapters that explains the hidden mysteries of God's kingdom. When you read the book, you come to understand the creator of the universe's straightforward mind in putting man on planet Earth. In the end, we get to understand that he is solving a problem, and the problem is how he puts evil into eternal incarceration. So man on earth is a straight equation toward evil of the surface of planet Earth. We get to understand a lot of things when you read this revelatory book, as the mind of God is revealed to all of us, and it shows us how we can have permanent perfect peace on planet Earth. In the end, we get to understand that a word is planned and not a word of chance, as the creator of the universe is now going to show us the smallest secret about all of us. Just like a movie, at the end of the movie we are shown the smallest secret about the movie, and all of us become very elated. So now, with over 6 billion people on planet Earth, he is going to lay bare his arm to let all men see his righteousness. This book gives a clear understanding of the reign of the Perfectionist, as we now realize that the kingdom of God had never been wishful thinking, but then understanding the behind the scenes processes of life that comes on earth to rule earth for time without end. There is this law that he advertised in Isaiah chapter 51 verse 4 to 5. This law brings judgment on earth. This law is also in Isaiah chapter 42 verse 4. There's a basic instruction, as basic as the one that was given to the first man at the Garden of Eden. And that is what he brings on earth, to bring an end to all forms of evil, so that now his rule begins. It's a great privilege and honor to be able to have this knowledge to share with all humanity for peace and understanding on planet Earth. First of all, the book brings to fore the antagonism between Christians and Hebrews for close to 2 millennia. Whenever they read the Bible, each and every one of them have got his own understanding of it. The book starts with the purpose of human life. For every human soul is in search of significance, purpose, and meaning, regardless of culture, regardless of religion or language. The quest for the purpose of life is inherent in every soul. What are we here for? Why are we here? This question is answered simply in this book, as we get to understand that the creator of the universe, the Holy One of Israel, is partnering dust of the earth to putting evil into eternal incarceration. Chapter 2 comes with human life likened to a game. We get to understand that almost every game has got players, has got laws that governs it, has got a place that is being played, has got an object of common interest, has got casualties. There are casualties in every game, and then there's a grand reward. The same way human life is just like that. We get to know one thing about us, that is the object of commonest interest. When we get to know that, we have hit something that is so precious than anything on planet Earth. Chapter 3 comes with a very stunning revelation, that is the making of man and the exaltation of the Garden of Eden. because now the garden's presence is coming. Now he will have to show us all things, where we were dug from, where the first garden that he made, where it is, and now he extending Edenic conditions throughout the whole world. Chapter 4 is man as a program. It is likened to chapter 2, where we liken human life to a game. Now we look much more in depth when you read chapter 4 that talks about man as a program. We get to understand that no man is evil, but then man is a fulcrum of a great cosmic battle. Opposing forces of good and evil, love and hate, light and darkness are in constant struggle to win victory over man soul, because such a victory will determine the fate of the greater universe in that time point. We get to know that the light gains upper hand when reason and mind are cultivated among humans. That makes them turn their attention away from purely material concerns and cultivate the spirit. The darkness, on the other hand, interfere in the world to destroy mind and reason, so as to frustrate humanity's spiritual promise for an ultimate wider redemption. So we get to know that no man is evil, not even one. We get to know evil, we get to know human. We get to understand that we are a fulcrum through which all these great forces, good and evil, operate for the world to stand. Chapter 5 comes with another stunning revelation, the desire of Adam in relation to the do not eat command. Chapter 6 answers why Adam will die if he eats from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Chapter 7 is the power transfer at the Garden of Eden. Here we read exclusively to know another important facet of human life, because science over the years have been able to show that we can get even electricity from water. We are now going to know that we can harness pure and true power from human beings. This is another discovery, because when we get this discovery, this is what is going to let us coexist on earth peacefully, without discrimination, racism, without murders, without sexual immorality, without adultery. Everything is bringing it to a halt. When we read this chapter, we get to know how these power interplay. Chapter 8 is the choosing of Abraham. This is just a reminder, but then we go in depth to know the promise that was made to Abraham. We get to know that the promises were two: the word and the law. The word has come. Now is the law that comes on earth to bring an end to an evil world on planet Earth. So we get to know that how Abraham is chosen and how he promised Abraham to bless the whole world through his offspring. So the time is coming now, we're going to see. Chapter 9 will intrigue everybody reading this book. This is because it comes as a mirror reflection on your mind as you read it. As a writer, this is my best chapter, because in it you get to know that you are reading something, but what you are reading, you have always known it, but you have never seen it. It had always been in your mind, but you had never envisaged seeing it. So it comes as a mirror reflection on your mind. Here we get to know how our computers think, which we know already, because we have programmed them to think as such. But how do we think? Next chapter, which is chapter 10, is the peaceful kingdom and the concept of heaven. A lot of people have gotten the notion that heaven is a place that you die to go. It's never true. However, it's the kingdom of heaven. This is when the Creator comes on earth and lives amongst us. The concept of heaven. So I'll read it, just a portion of it. The first two paragraphs of this chapter, the peaceful kingdom and the concept of heaven. Man's quest for peace and truth on the leverage scale is equivalent to the Creator's desire for the incarceration of evil to attaining absolute perfection of all creation. After the Second World War, man's urgent pursuit for a permanent peaceful world order culminated in the formation of the United Nations Charter. This is evident on Isaiah wall outside the UN building in Ralph Bunche Park, New York, bearing the inscription, "They will beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nations will not take up sword against nation, nor will they train for war anymore." This borrowed stanza from Isaiah chapter 2 verse 4 is in the Holy Bible has been the unofficial mission statement of the United Nations, which is reiterated by the true meaning of the two olive branches signifying peace on the blue flag of the Charter. Nevertheless, as much as the United Nations try to get peace, the more the mission becomes complicated, as the Charter, like all other constitutions on earth, are the finite minds of mortal men. A rather much noble charter, which is from the infinite wisdom of the creator of the universe, would reasonably bring the peaceful world order to the world. The peaceful kingdom is a humane system of governance under the direct watchful eyes of the creator of the universe, the Holy One of Israel. It is a kingdom where all nations, tribes, languages, people all over the world live harmoniously with each other. This is made possible by a divine legal instrument called the law, issued by the Holy One of Israel on his behalf by the prophet in the book of Isaiah chapter 11. The Holy One of Israel is putting this law above all constitutions of earth to sap away all evils done beneath the sun. The benefits of being under this divine legal instrument are very enormous, ranging from no diseases to any death. So we get to understand why we are trying for peace, but we're not getting peace. We get the true meaning of peace, that peace is not the absence of war, but the absence of death. And that for us to get a permanent peace on planet Earth, we are going to fight a perpetual war. We're going to fight a war that is also going to end all wars. In subsequent chapters, I'll explain what really that war is all about. Now the next chapter is chapter 11, from Adam to the Messiah. Here we look into a brief history of the 12 tribes of Israel and the second Exodus, and the fellow to initiate the gathering of the 12 tribes of Israel and Gentiles as well. We look at chapter 12, which is related to chapter 11, the most wanted man ever, the Jewish Messiah. We read for ourselves how someone could be so wanted all over the world that even there's a prophecy about him. So we read the portion, or we read the portion where the prophecy about this human being, somebody who is born from a man and a woman. However, the Spirit of the Lord comes on him, and then he's able to lay it or show us how we can get permanent, perfect peace on planet Earth and beyond. We get to know that the Jewish Messiah has nothing to do with the Middle East peace process. However, peace in its entirety to the whole inhabited world. Chapter 13 is the